hypnotherapist and the owner of the weightlossconnect.ie. First of all, I want to say happy World Hypnotism Day. It's a great day for people like myself who are in this profession. And I thought it'd be a really good day to kickstart a series of videos that I'm going to be doing here live on our page to help educate people really on what hypnosis is and how it can be used in mostly, in weight loss, but other things that we help people in the clinic with as well. So the first thing I'm going to talk about in this video, and it's more or less the only thing I'm going to talk about today, is emotional eating. So what it is. So when people suffer with addiction, in this case with emotional eating, it's using food to numb some sort of pain. Now, sometimes other people, when they are, I suppose, experiencing something painful emotionally, emotional pain, what they do is they reach for things like alcohol, drugs, gaming, sex, all that sort of stuff. And the one that people don't really talk a lot about is those that have a food addiction. And it can be one of the most cruel of all, because when someone has a food addiction, it's really obvious because over time, and it can start as early as 4, 3 even, whenever emotional trauma is experienced for the first time in someone's life. So early on, it starts. What do we do when somebody needs something to cheer up? Give them chocolate. A child falls, bangs their knee, give them chocolate. Different things like this where there was no intent to harm back then, but these are learned behaviours as well for when we are experiencing pain. So not everybody has had that same thing when they were 3 or 4, okay? It's not that everybody has. But what emotional eating is basically using food to soothe some sort of emotional pain that someone's going through. So what we do in using hypnotherapy, the way that we use it is we help get to the root cause. That's one way of doing it, getting to the root cause of where somebody learned to experience this pain, where they learned to, I suppose, started using food as well. And sometimes people get a little bit confused. They might say, oh, when I was younger, my mum used to fill the plate and that wouldn't be what we'd be looking at. We'd be looking at, okay, what sort of relationships were there in people's lives, in the family and outside of it. Now, that's when you deal on a one-to-one level. That's the really deep clean out, getting to the root cause of why somebody's using food, why they're in emotional pain in the first place, like where they learned it. But the other thing which can be used and can be quite successful as well is what I use in the hypnosim classes. And it's where once a week I do it in a group form. So it wouldn't be an appropriate setting to go for a deep delve with clients on an individual basis. But what I would do there is I'd be helping people change their attitude while they're in hypnosis, helping them change their attitude towards the sugary foods and the fatty foods. So when they no longer like them, well, they no longer want them. So that's where you hear a lot of the time people saying, oh, I gave up using the hypnosis, it was much, much easier. And that's because they allowed me work with their mind and with whatever hypnotherapist they use and help them change their beliefs in there about the food. So the same way we do it with smokers. I mean, when a smoker realizes, the damage that nicotine is having in their body, they're much more likely not to be reaching for a cigarette or want it. So that's really how we use it. We use hypnotherapy to change the attitude, because when we are in hypnosis, our subconscious doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's imagined. Now, for some of you, this might be going over your head, and don't worry if it is. It's just, I get asked all the time, what's the difference in hypnotherapy and other therapies, and what's the difference in using HypnoSlim instead of going on a diet? And it's just to give you that information now, and you can have a think about it to see if it's something that makes sense or something that you might even want to give a go. So that's one thing. The other thing, hypnotherapy it's just a state of deep relaxation. That's all it is, As a good friend of ours said one time, it's not rocket science. He knows who he is if he's listening. It is just a state of deep relaxation where your conscious mind is relaxed and you have full access to your subconscious mind. Now, why do you want to bypass the conscious part? Because that's where all your judgment is, your rational thinking, the logical thinking. Why do we want to bypass? Because if I give you suggestions that don't match. Like if you have a belief in there that, oh my God, I'm so overweight, I'm just not attractive enough and all this sort of stuff. If I'd start feeding you information like you are beautiful, you're wonderful and gorgeous and you're enough as you are, and all these wonderful positive stuff that I put in along, with the weight loss stuff, well, if the conscious part is alert, well, then there's nothing getting past it to make any change. So we've got to relax that part. That's how hypnotherapy works. We relax that part of the mind. Doesn't take very long, 10-15 minutes. Sometimes it can be done instantly, but in the group settings, it would be about 15 minutes. And then when you're in there, you have full access to that emotional mind, that emotional subconscious mind. So that's where all your feelings and emotions are. Your habits are in there. The habits of passing the fridge and having to open and pick at something, or having to eat the end of somebody's plate. Those habits, that's all in there. Feelings, emotional habits, beliefs, and your long-term memories in there as well. And very important part of your mind that's in there is the protector. Okay, so your protector's in there. That's a really important part. We don't want to shut that off. So you've got access to all that. Okay, that's what we're helping you reprogram. So that's how hypnotherapy works. And other things people have asked me about, people ask, oh, does it work for everyone? If you can follow suggestion and you want to go into hypnosis, it can work for you very, very well. Some people say, oh, I'm far too logical and I have such a rational mind, I couldn't possibly be hypnotized. It's not true. I'm not even going to waste time on that. It is not true. If you're willing to go in and relax the mind, you can be hypnotized. So that's another thing. And also I get asked all the time, and does it work? Who or what, what's happened? What have you managed to achieve? And it's not just me. Obviously the hypnotism classes achieve great results for the clients, but it's the clients who come in and relax their mind, and they're willing, and they go home, okay, and they do. It's not even that they do the work, because the efforts come out. But today, because it's World Hypnotism Day, I said, you know what, I'll post a video testimonial on the hour from 8 o'clock in the morning till 9 o'clock at night. And the reason I did that was to show you there's no better day in the year to do it. I wouldn't do that every day. Facebook go mad. But it's important that we share this. I absolutely love what I do because it helps people, and even for myself, I had a pure addiction to chocolate, and that's 7 years, 7 or 8. I think it's coming up in 7 years now, and there's no chocolate getting past my lips. Yuck! Like, I've changed how I think about chocolate. I used to love it. That was just my go-to every day, and I can't even imagine the taste of it now, because I've changed my attitude at a deep subconscious level. So the last thing I want to have is chocolate. So that's the reality of the what our clients have gotten out of this as well. And other things as well, be mindful of whether you come to weight loss clinic. You're more than welcome to inquire and see if it's suitable for you. But no matter what hypnotherapist you go to, and there's plenty of us out there now, no matter who you go to, just make sure they're well qualified. Like if you were going to a mechanic, you'd want to know that they know what they're doing. The mind is much more important. You can replace a car, you can definitely tweak the mind, but you only get one. And to make it as less traumatic as possible, I would suggest you do your homework. Do your homework and make sure that your hypnotherapist is well qualified from a reputable place. And other things as well, before I finish, the greatest gift that you can give yourself is control of your mind. Really, even if you think of it that way, if we do not have control of our mind, we're in trouble, aren't we? Because I think most people out there, especially the last couple of years, has been more difficult than others. But people go through different phases of life when they're younger, and then when they go into the family mode, women having children, hormones going mental. And I can say that because I am a mother of two. I'm quite normal in that had the kids, and I know the effects of the hormones on the body, the mind. There's so much going on. You've got the marketing industry in your face all the time. And it's really important that you've got control of your own mind. And if you need help with that, reach out to a hypnotherapist. It's World Hypnotism Day. It's no better day to be reaching out. And especially with the emotional eating, that's hard, because there's people eating whether they're lonely, feeling neglected, abandoned, they're a given. Grief is another one, just sad. And all these emotions over time have such a negative impact on our mind and our body. And if you don't hit that pause button, or that reset button is even more powerful, it's going to be very difficult to move forward and to, I suppose, live your best life. Um, and oh, thank you, Karen. That's a lovely comment. Fantastic course. Would recommend to anyone thinking of joining. Don't wait. Definitely working for me. Rosie is great. Thank you so much for that, Karen. Karen came in recently, and obviously I'm not going to discuss her successes, but she was just on our last course there. So thanks for that, Karen. And I'm going to leave you with that. I only expected to be on just for a couple of minutes. I should leave some for the next night. But if you like this, like it and share it with someone that you think might benefit from it. It's a great time of year to get started. We're going to start our next class on Wednesday the 17th of January. So that's just 2 weeks from yesterday. And there's still some availability, and it is limited, but there is some availability. So reach out if you'd like more information, and we shall chat to you again tomorrow. Bye for now. Have a lovely evening.